Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Hey, good morning, G. I take no solace in the fact that Daniel Jones is not going to play the rest of the year. I kind of knew back when this whole thing happened and the hit that he took against the Philadelphia Eagles that this was not going to work. I don't think it's career-ending. Let's hope and pray that it's not. You never root for anybody to get hurt, and certainly a kid like this, you want him to do well. You want him to come up, and you want him to be a really good player, and you want him to be the leader of the New York Giants, which leads to the question: is he the leader of the New York Giants, and what are they going to do moving forward? So that's out there now, and unfortunately, another year where he sustains another injury. And like I said, and like we've all said, and I think many Giant fans feel this way too. One thing about Eli Manning, he showed up every week. It may not have been great every week, but he showed up every week. And that's part of playing in the NFL is staying on the field. And it's hard for guys to stay on the field. You can see some of the hits that the quarterbacks have taken here the last few weeks. And these two games last night, all four quarterbacks were getting hit left and right. And, this was I don't know if this is the only week. I have to go back and look. But there was only one quarterback that threw for over 300 yards. And that was Patrick Mahomes against the Chargers on Thursday night. That's the only quarterback that did that. Everybody else was under 300 yards.
Wow, Aaron Rodgers didn't throw for 300 in that game?
And two of the two quarterbacks who had statistically maybe their worst games of the year and both threw for under 100 yards ended up winning their games. Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I know.
So it's crazy. I know that Carson Wentz was playing indoors, so weather really had nothing to do with it. Some of these other things have to do with weather, but it also has to do with COVID-related guys missing. Chicago and Cleveland were completely decimated by COVID-19.
Cleveland more so.
Well, Chicago was missing 10 players last night.
Yeah, I know, but Cleveland was down to their third-string quarterback, and their coach wasn't there.
Yeah, look, and that's just
22 players.
The NFL's not feeling sorry for anybody.
Yeah,
and that game yesterday between Cleveland and Oakland, I think I tweeted out during the game. It looked like Oakland was in the twilight zone, like they were totally off, like kilter, dropping passes, muffing punts.
Yeah.
Fumbling the ball. I've never seen anything like it. And they still won the game. And their kicker, Daniel Carlson's amazing because how about, I don't know if you noticed this, my nephew Randy brought it up to me yesterday watching the game. So Daniel Carlson's going out there to kick the game-winning field goal. Mm-hmm. And the scoreboard's strobing in the background.
Right. I know.
Like he's getting ready. He's looking up at the uprights.
Well,
he's looking, and that thing is strobing like crazy.
Well, that's by design.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. And then he kicks the first one. They call timeout.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and kicks the next one even better.
That was not a chip shot, 48 yards.
No. So they were lucky. They won the game. But, right now, your Vikings are number 7, and they are in the playoffs in the NFC. Look, you could be a Jet or Giant fan, dude, and you're looking forward to next April. You could be a Giant fan waking up this morning knowing that your quarterback is going to miss the last 5 games.
No, I know, but I don't want to compare myself to those terrible franchises.
Right,
I don't want to. I know, but
football.
I like to compare myself to a team that wins the division every year, like the Green Bay Packers. That's what I'd rather do. I don't want to compare myself to the slop of the NFL.
But you know what you are?
They could be the Green Bay Packers. They could be the Rams. They could be the Cardinals. They could be those teams too. And they, quite frankly, they probably should have been. So, they've got more talent on their roster. They've got a team that they've brought back for a number of years. They should be better than that. They should be better than what they are.
You know what your team is? Your team is a reflection of the NFL. It's called parity. And your team is a part of like the bunched up 16 teams in the middle of the league.
Yeah. It is. But here's the problem. They're playing 2 teams that are above that the next 2 weeks.
Assuming that they stay healthy and they make it through their own games.
Yeah, okay. But the Packers and the Rams. And on paper, that is not easy.
No.
So they've got those 2 games coming up, and then they end with the Chicago Bears. So it's just they ended up losing to the Lions, and then they lost some of those last-second games that they shouldn't have, and it sort of put them out of the picture. Hell, if they end up going and winning out, and they could beat the Packers, and now they beat the Packers already, but if they could somehow beat the Packers and the Rams and then beat the Bears in Week 18, then then they're on fire. And that's a team you got to look out for in the NFC. But I'm sorry. I'm just being realistic about it. They're not as good as those 2 teams, and they're going to have to win all their games. Don't they?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think that's being negative. I think it's being realistic.
I think in the AFC, it's going to take 10 wins to make it to the playoffs. In the NFC, you might get a 9-8 team. You can even get an 8-9 team.
Well, I mean, okay, so in order to go 9-8, they're going to have to win one of those two games against those two tough teams, and they're going to have to beat the Chicago Bears in the last week of the season. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just that I'm just being realistic about it.
I hear you.
And they did what they needed to do. They've lost a lot of games to bad Chicago Bear teams at Soldier Field. You took me to one of them on Monday Night Football.
Oh, that was ugly.
I mean, really, really ugly. Yeah. So, I mean,
they play ugly football, those two teams, for some reason.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just always like a slugfest, and
that was not a good game last night.
It's always a grind. And both all four teams playing on Tuesday, it's weird. The whole thing's weird. They played like it was weird.
Yeah.
You had weird players playing like Nick Mullins, who, by the way, is better than Mike Lennon.
Oh, my goodness, I know.
That
was
kid,
the third-string coach. He had success in San Francisco. He did pretty well last night. I mean, didn't blow you away, but he did pretty well last night.
He didn't lose the game for you.
Hell no. I mean,
matter of fact, they had drop passes too.
The problem was once they got the ball back after the Carr interception, they couldn't get that first down. And they ran the ball on third down. I would have put the ball back in his hands. I would have tried to pass for that first down. I know that they were trying to make him use their last time out, but it was like they were geared up for the run. They stopped, and they got Carr the ball back. But he ended up throwing that touchdown pass when he needed to, obviously, on fourth down with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. But, yeah, you're right. He's better than Mike Lennon. I don't know how he's a third-string quarterback in the league. He should be a backup. He'd be a backup for half the league.
Well, the kid, you know what the kid is? He's an insurance policy. He's a relatively cheap insurance policy, but he's the third policy holder, if you will. I don't know. Derek Carr made some, bonehead plays last night too. I mean, the Raiders should have killed the Browns last night.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, with 22 guys on the COVID list, you're down to your third-string quarterback. And in reality, I mean, the Browns really should have won the game. I mean, after that interception, they had every opportunity to salt that game away, and they absolutely blew it. And then the defense had a shot too. I mean, it's not like I said, it wasn't a chip shot field goal, and they had to drive. You had to drive the ball down the field, the Raiders. I mean, that's a brutal loss for the Browns, even with all the circumstances that were going against them. They had that game won. And they would have been in great position in their division had they won it.
Right. So losing gives the Bengals the lead in that division. The Bengals play the Ravens this week, and if the playoffs started today, which they don't, the Colts would be at the Bengals, the Chargers would be at the Titans, the Bills would be at the Patriots, and the Kansas City Chiefs would have off. Over in the NFC, Green Bay would have the bye. Minnesota would be at Dallas.
All right.
I mean, you could beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I know. It'd be great if it ended like that.
Right. The 49ers at the Buccaneers. 49ers got a badass defense, much like New Orleans. You saw what New Orleans just did to Tampa Bay. And then you got the Rams at the Cardinals. And I think the Rams are going to steamroll the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, though, that the Vikings could be out just as quickly as they were in with the result of Philadelphia-Washington. So, I mean...
Well, Philadelphia's going to win, don't you think?
I don't know. I don't know anymore, man. Don't ask me. I've had the worst year of picking games in my life. I have no idea what the hell's going to happen in the NFL. No clue at all.
If Washington wins, the Vikings are out.
Okay.
If Philly wins, the Vikings stay in.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
I'm positive.
All right. So we need the Viking fans out there need...
You need the Eagles to win.
The Eagles to win to keep it in there. All right, so then there you go. Yeah, but it's going to be crazy, and this COVID situation is going to affect it in a major, major way, man. You saw how it affected it already last night and how it's affected it this week. And you get to a playoff situation where you got 22 guys on a COVID list on one particular team. I mean, my goodness.
So here's the thing, though. All these guys that are on the COVID list now, once they come off the COVID list, 90 days, no testing.
Oh, that's good for them.
So they're done. That's the thing I'm asking about, like Kyrie Irving.
Well, he did get it.
So, yeah, well, that's
tested
what
positive.
They're reporting that he's tested positive. So I don't know if the NBA's protocols are the same with the NFL. Plus, he's unvaccinated, so he's in a different category. I don't know how they treat the unvaccinated who in the NBA who come down with COVID.
Yeah.
Now, is he 90 days free and clear? And since since he's caught COVID, but he's unvaccinated, can he play home games? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. But he should be able to. He should be able to. I mean, that's the thing. Now,
right. I mean, like this is like all over the place with all these different mandates, all these different cities and states. And one thing COVID-19 taught us, and it taught us this way back when, early in March of 2020, is basically it gave us all a civics lesson as to who runs this country, and at what level they run it, and where is the impact felt the most.
Now,
it's obviously the governors, and then in this city, it's the mayor.
Now, I'm someone who I got vaccinated when I can get my booster because I ended up having COVID in early November. When they say 90 days after you have it, go get the booster. So I'll do that as well. But one thing I know is that, I mean, and everybody agrees with this, once you have it, there's some natural immunity there. So for Kyrie Irving, it's like, he should be able to play anywhere he wants for a little bit.
Well, I do not believe
those are the rules, but it should
meet the mandate of New York City. Like they tried to, like they said, their building is a gym; it's not an office place. So they try to let him slide there because those are Kyrie's rules, which is fugazi, if you ask me. But now that he has tested positive, he's not going to be tested. I don't think. Again, I don't know the NBA protocols. As to whether or not an unvaccinated player who tests positive and then goes into COVID protocol, when he comes out, what is his status? Does he still have to go through testing, or does he have 90 days where he's not tested? And if he has 90 days where he's not tested, he's in good shape.
I remember a doctor telling me once I got COVID that you could test positive after you recover from it. You could test positive up to 6 weeks after contracting it. So that's probably another part of the reason why they don't test everybody after you recover, because you could be still tested positive.
And you would end up staying. The question is, are you shedding it?
No is the answer.
Right.
Yeah. So. I mean, I don't know. There should be some sort of antibody check on someone who's gotten it just to see where they're at and what type of immunity they have.
Yeah, the whole thing's confusing, right?
Still
to this day, it's confusing.
Of course it is. I mean, I don't.
But I mean, his case is so. Aaron Rodgers tested positive.
Yep.
Okay. So now he doesn't have to test for another 90 days. So they don't have to worry about losing him.
Yeah, that's perfect for the Packers. I guess he got it at the right time.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.